Interesting news today, potentially at least. A new entry arrived on the FCC database, and we're not quite sure yet, but it could just be the Mavic Mini 2. In this stream, we're going to discuss it and take a look at what might be, or might not be at least, this exciting little drone. So without further ado, we're going to crack straight on. This is, by the way, the very first stream to the main DroningON channel, so hopefully have a little bit of patience with us tonight, because there might be some technical teething issues potentially. But anyway, thank you everybody for joining so far. We've got loads of people in the chat, loads of people watching. Henry Robotic, Tony, Astromart, Drone Viral, Legwork, Davey Rooker, Etu Joan, everybody, thank you very much for tuning in. And just let us know if you can't hear or see us properly. Anyway, let's get into this. So basically, a little bit of an introduction, I think, is probably first due. Now, first of all, we don't talk about things if we just see a scribble drawing about it or something that doesn't really have any real foundation. And it changes really when we see it on the FCC database. Now, the FCC database, for people that don't know, is a database, an American-held database, which is where when somebody designs or invents a new device, they have to get certification, and that's for the transmission frequencies of that device. It needs to be tested and shown that it's compliant with the regulation standards. And that's what's appeared today on the FCC database. Now, unfortunately, the FCC ruin all the DJI fun, because every single time a new device is about to arrive, it appears on the FCC database, and it's kind of like it ruins DJI's thunder a little bit. But on the plus side, it means for us, we don't need to guess anymore. We don't need to speculate anymore. We can actually start thinking about what actually is this and start looking at what the FCC entry reveals. That's what we're going to talk about today. So basically, let's just share this over here. This is what the FCC database looks like. And this is actually one of the exhibits that appeared today. You can see, first of all, that you've got a model number here, which is MT2PD2007, and that represents the model number of the actual product. And in the case of DJI, as we probably all know, all of their drones have a model number. This one is new, and that's why we're fairly sure that this is a new product. Now, they do have an up-and-coming event, of course, which is in relation to the we think commercial sector, enterprise, a little bit of agriculture, planning, mapping. And so at first I thought maybe this might be one of those products that they're due to release there. But actually, this model number tells us more than we might actually think at first sight. The reason is MT, the first two letters there, the prefix, actually was the prefix of the original Mavic Mini as well, which was MT1SS5. This one is MT2. And as for my knowledge, there isn't actually another product in the range at the moment that has that. So I've got a massive 49-inch curved screen here. It's not like you can just look at it. You have to really twist your head around to actually see it. But yeah, I think the model number there gives it away because it's so similar to the original Mavic Mini model number. I am, however, very surprised because the Mavic Mini, the original Mavic Mini, I think it arrived in November just last year. DJI do tend to uplift their products every year or so. However, it's arrived much sooner than I thought. I thought they'd let the Mavic Mini run a little bit longer. And just to reiterate again, we don't know yet. It might not be the Mavic Mini 2. But there are some telltale signs here that we're going to talk about in this live stream. So again, just a shout out to everybody for watching. Mike, a Drone Ranger, welcome on board, one of our moderators. David Burke, one of our members as well. By the way, if you haven't yet joined the DroningON community, please do. And hopefully some of our members that have joined in the chat today will tell you some of the benefits in there. We've really made it special. We've made it worthwhile so that you're actually getting something for your money. And it's very cheap. We've already got a community behind the scenes as well. We have a dedicated DroningON Discord server where we've been chatting all day. These guys have been driving me mad. I'm joking, I love them. And genuinely, we're chatting about everything, not just drones in there. So yeah, really, really worthwhile. Click the join button below if you want to have some more information about that. Anyway, back to this leak on the FCC. We call it a leak, but it's not really a leak. It's part of the process of launching a new product. Now, DJI generally have a confidentiality clause, which is part of their FCC filing, which means that this could have probably been on there long before production manufacturing. And the confidentiality clause means it doesn't go public until a couple of weeks before launch. That means that whatever this is, if it's a Mavic Mini 2 or otherwise, probably will be here in 2 weeks. Now, it's no coincidence that DJI's event with the Geo Inter Geo, I think it's called, is in just under 2 weeks' time, but I really don't think that this product will appear there. Also, if we just look at the teaser footage for that event on the 14th of October, this is a video I ran not long ago where I analysed the teaser image and I brought the contrast up so that we can actually see what's revealed in the image, because that's the teaser that we actually got up there. But what I always do is tweak these teasers to see if we can reveal some hidden detail and clarity in there. And by doing that, you'll see in a minute that actually these products on the left and the right hand side, where has it gone? There we go. You can see we've got buttons there. There's 2 products clearly there, but none of them look like the Mavic Mini 2. So I don't think we'll see this launched at that event. Who knows? But anyway, back to the FCC filing. So when they file this, they have to file exhibits to show that it's passed the certification, which clearly they have done there. And then in addition to that, they also have to file where the label will go, the FCC certification label on the product. And I feel really sorry for these manufacturers because that reveals immediately what the product's going to look like. One of the elements here is the FCC ID label. And if you've looked inside any of your products, any of your DJI drones, I've got mine sat back here, you'll notice there's a little label in there that says all of the ID details, the voltages of the battery, etc. That's what's been filed here. And this is the real giveaway that we've got from this FCC filing. It says camera drone up here, but I expect that that's just placeholder text. I reckon that will probably say whatever the product is, if it's Mavic Mini 2 or otherwise. We've got the model number at the top, MT2PD, and that's, as I say, the telltale sign because it's so similar to the original Mavic Mini 1 model number, which was MT1. Now, the other interesting aspects here that are revealed by an FCC filing relate to the battery. And this tells us what battery is going to power this device. Now, this is why I don't think this is an agricultural device. I don't think it's a mapping drone or anything similar to that, because the specifications here for the battery are very, very low. We know it's not an Osmo Pocket 2. Somebody in the chat has said down there, thank you again for everybody chatting. Don DG said, is it the new Pocket 2? No, I don't think so. Now, the reason is, it says drone on the label, so we know it's a drone. Now, the other telltale signs are the battery. The original battery on the Mavic Mini was a 7.2 voltage lithium ion. It was a 2400 milliamp battery, I believe. Now, the fact that it was lithium ion was, I think, part of the reasons why we've seen so many problems with this suffering from underpower. In other words, drifting away in wind. The new battery that's listed here is a 7.7 volt, which is quite odd because a 2-cell lithium polymer is normally 7.4 nominal voltage. 7.7 volts, and interestingly 2250 milliamps. So a smaller battery, but we don't get to know what the actual battery platform is here. It could still be lithium ion, it could be lithium polymer. We'll be finding out hopefully soon. Underneath that, we've got the charging. So input 5 volts, 2 amps, that's basically how you're going to charge the device. 9 volt, 2 amps, 12 volt as well, 1.5 amps. So lots of charging options here, but the other telltale sign is in the rest of this label. And this is the part of the FCC filing that tells us where the actual label will be stuck. And I mean, if you look at that image, let's just simulate that image with my Mavic Mini. If I take the battery out and hold this, I wish I could go split screen, but I haven't set it up, unfortunately. Now, is my Canon going to behave here? There we go. Now, how similar does that look? You can see at the top, we've got the USB port and the SD card slot. We've then got the battery flap at the bottom, and then the battery bay in the middle. It's almost identical. You can see the cooling vents on the top here as well, and you can see the little LED, which is slightly bigger on this new model, we can note. Now, As I say, we don't like to guess, we don't like speculation, but this is an FCC label. It's not a drawing by some crazy guy on Twitter. It's not some random guesswork or ranting speculation by people that are just trying to get clicks and subscribers. This is an FCC filing, and the label is just too similar to the Mavic Mini for it not to be a Mavic Mini 2. So I think this is very, very exciting. However, there are some things that we also observe from that image. You'll notice, first of all, on the original Mavic Mini, we have that horrible micro SD slot, which I hate micro SD. On this new one, we've got very clearly a USB-C slot, which is great. I love USB-C. I power everything by USB-C. In fact, my 49-inch monitor here is connected to this laptop via USB-C. It's Thunderbolt 3, but it's the same USB 3 connector, USB-C connector, and it's just so solid and reliable and stable. Much, much better. Davey Rookers said it could be a lithium high voltage battery. That's possible. I'm not too familiar with that platform actually, but if you can check the voltage, Davey, and see if 7.7 sounds aligned with that, then yeah. Now the other thing is the SD card slot on the left. No change there, although I must say what I really, really would have loved is for the cover to actually cover the charging port and the SD card, because I'm always worried about losing it. I wish the cover on the original one just was a little bit longer so it covered those sensitive ports, just in case for any reason that SD card pops out whilst it's flying. Now it's highly unlikely, but you never know. So that's what we can gather from the FCC filing, and that's quite exciting, but it poses some more questions, and we'll go into those next. Before we do, just to go through a few of the chats. Mark Freeman, love your channel, thank you very much. Rod Piker, hey. Roy Skywalker, Rum Zombie, good to see you. I would love some rum right now. Unfortunately, I only have water, but hey, better than nothing. Jonathan Hanna, Drone Flight, Claudia, Bush Green, Drone Viral, Adventures Unfold, thanks for subscribing today as well. Akirasho, sorry, I'm terrible at pronouncing names. If you saw my video earlier about the American arrested in Turkey earlier today, then you're probably appalled at my pronunciation of the Turkish province, but that was very, very hard to pronounce. Anyway, Drone Viral, a Mavic Mini 2 would be very cool. I agree, it is a great little drone, although I have to say, since the Mavic Air came along, Mavic Air 2, I don't use my Mavic Mini as much, and even with the Mavic Air 2, I still love this beast even more. Mavic 2 Pro, absolutely love it. But it's useful when you're traveling. You know, you can't beat the size of this thing. It really, really is tiny. In fact, hey, I can flip to my webcam. Yay! There we go. There's my little Mavic Mini. You can see my mess of a studio here. I've actually only just set up the Canon as well to get the stream looking a little bit better. And hopefully it is. So yeah, appreciate you guys joining. So anyway, questions about this new FCC filing. And if this is a Mavic 2, what are the questions that everybody's going to have on their lips? Let's first of all run down the original Mavic Mini. Now, if you might remember the launch trailer for that, I hated that launch trailer. I don't know about you guys, I found the music annoying. I found the voiceover horrific, really, really terrible. And I just hope the launch trailer for the Mavic Mini 2 is nothing like this one. Whoever did this wasn't the usual DJI marketing people, because their launch trailers are normally great. This one just annoyed me. Comment to let me know what you think about those. But yeah, hey Ken Heron. Oh, thank you for joining. And that's my first ever live stream super chat on this channel. So thank you very much, Ken. If you do appreciate this kind of content, I appreciate super chats. It all helps. Ken, you'll be made an honorary moderator as well. Well deserved. So the original Mavic Mini, it was under 250 grams, which was just cutting edge, really, wasn't it? It didn't have 4K, and that was the bit that was missing for most of us. We really, really wanted it to have 4K, and ultimately it doesn't add a lot of weight. The camera sensor is probably capable of 4K. I believe that Sony sensor is. I think they did it perhaps to make us excited about a sequel. Who knows? Flight time of 30 minutes was brilliant. We love that. We all know it doesn't fly for 30 minutes. But it has a great flight time, and that's really, really nice. And it costs $399, 399 euros. We always get screwed over in Europe. You Americans always pay less. It's so unfair. But Ken is going to send me every DJI drone that they produce for free. buy it cheaper over there, aren't you, Ken? Thank you. So based on that, what do we want to see next? I mean, they've got to keep it under 250 grams really, because that's the key selling point. 4K would be great. I don't see any reason why a drone a year later can't have 4K. There you go, Ken. Now you're a moderator. Sorry, I think I might have moderated somebody else. Whoops. 30 minutes. I mean, does it really need to fly longer than 30 minutes? Now, let's remember the battery on this newer model is smaller in capacity. It's 150 milliamps smaller. Now, 150 milliamps is not a lot, but it does make all the difference, you know, in terms of minutes of flight. However, if the battery technology is different, lithium polymer or lithium ion, then maybe it won't make so much of a difference after all. The controller. What about the controller? Now, it's highly unlikely. I've had a look through the FCC filing for the certifications, and I don't see anything in there that looks like it's going to be smart controller proof to me. The smart controller can't talk to the current Mavic Mini because this uses enhanced Wi-Fi, and the smart controller is OcuSync too. So unfortunately, that's never been a possibility. However, you never know. It might be the case that something is possible there. The smart controller does have Wi-Fi because it can connect to your Wi-Fi for data access. So maybe a firmware update could change the use of that hardware. Maybe the capability's been there all along. We just don't know yet. Then there's the batteries. Will the batteries from the old Mavic Mini fit the new Mavic Mini? Again, highly unlikely, especially if it's a different battery technology, but also I expect the new Mavic Mini might be smaller than this one. Wouldn't that be incredible? I also hope that they get rid of these dangly props, because that's one of my biggest pet hates of the Mavic Mini, that whatever you're doing with it, it's flopping. These are flopping around. You can't really ever store it neatly. Olov Brand, thank you very much for joining the DroningON club as well. Good man. Again, if you've not joined our community yet, you're missing a ton of exciting perks, so do see below if you want to join. Good man. Then there is the fact that this FCC filing was revealed just today or yesterday. Normally these are revealed out of the confidentiality clause just 1 or 2 weeks before launch. So we may see this in time for Christmas. How they're going to launch it though is anybody's guess, but I would expect in the next week or so, we may well see a new teaser image arrive. Because we all know that the DJI like to tease us, and they normally do that by releasing something to get us all excited with a kind of slogan, live your life, and something corny like that. So it's definitely going to be a very, very interesting few weeks ahead. This has surprised us all as well, I think it's fair to say. I think most people had pretty much made up their minds that there won't be a new DJI drone this year. There's no doubt that that FCC filing, in my opinion, is a Mavic Mini 2. That's because of the similarities with the rear door there, the SD card slot, the USB port, the inside of the bay, the LED light, and the fact that the model number is just too similar to the original Mavic Mini for it not to be a Mavic Mini 2. So if I had to put a bet on this, which I'm not going to, but if I had to, I would say that it's a Mavic Mini 2. I'll just go through the comments here. And again, thank you everybody for watching. We've got 156 people watching right now. That's really exciting because this is the very first stream on the DroningON channel. Apart from the stream that I did many, many years ago when I went down to Argos. And I don't know if you'll remember this one. This was quite funny. During the release of the Mavic 2, DJI accidentally, well, we say accidentally, they sent out marketing materials to people, and Argos actually printed their leak of the Mavic, well, printed the Mavic Mini, Mavic 2 in their catalogue as if it was out now. And I think this was a couple of weeks before launch. You can see it there. I'm always on the lookout ever since, and Best Buy are notorious for doing this. They're always accidentally leaking DJI products. So everybody, keep your eyes open, and if anybody sees anything, ping me. I really, really appreciate that kind of insight. As Mike said as well, hit that thumbs up button. Or if you're an idiot, hit the thumbs down button. I really don't care. It's all interaction. So yeah, Yeah, Mavic MG remembers the Argos episode. Mavic MG is one of our channel members as well. We've been having lots of banter today in our Discord server. As one of our members, you get access to that. So do consider signing up. Anyway, besides that, I think we could just be excited basically, because it's going to be an exciting couple of weeks. I think probably going to leave it there for now, unless anybody has anything outstanding to say in the chat. But thank you, everybody. Eagle Eye, Mothman, good to see you. Caroline Tyler, hey, hope you're still flying the RC as well, Caroline. Craig, John, Henrik, Ivan, Bush Green, Dara, good to see you. Mr. Holland, thank you. Greetings from Chicago. Thank you very much, everybody. Hit subscribe because I'll try and bring this stuff to you as soon as it happens. It's 10:30 here in Sweden. I was apprehensive about going on live tonight because it is a bit late and I need my beauty sleep, as you can see from this face here. But anyway, do hit subscribe. Think about joining the club because my club members get to see my videos before they go live to everybody else as well. So that's quite a perk. But on that note, yeah, thank you everyone for watching. And as I say, let's just keep an eye out. I do have a DJI Mavic Facebook group as well. I'll put a link to that in the video description later on. But there's about 55,000 members in there. And that's where you normally as well hear a lot of news very, very early. So definitely worth a look. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. And I think this one will be a big seller for Christmas. Anyway, start saving your pennies, folks, and thank you for watching. Thank you, guys.